really easy metallics to work with. Do you see how like they look more full on that eye? Wow. Happy holidays. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a requested video. So somebody commented in the comments asking for a tutorial on a look that I did in my high-end holiday collection launch review. It was like my wish list of what kind of holiday collections I wanted to get this holiday season, and it was definitely a holiday inspired look. So I'm here to fill that request and give you guys a in-depth tutorial. So if you want to see this look here, then keep on watching. Okay, so you obviously are already zoomed in, and I'm gonna get right down to it. So I already have put on my, base makeup, cream contour, all that jazz, just to save some time. So I will have all of the products that I use listed down below. And now we are going to finish the face makeup. I am going to be bronzing my face with my Ambient Lighting Bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light from Hourglass. So what I like to do is get like a big kind of fluffy brush. This is from Real Techniques 103. And just kind of go over where I cream contour, just lightly. And this is very pigmented, so I literally just dab it. And then I'll just do circular motions to buff those edges out and bring some color into the forehead, into the cheeks, and then especially along the jawline and down. Okay, so for blush, I did use that day, and thank goodness I listed all of the products that I used because I honestly would not have remembered. So I actually used my Ace Beauté Blush in Paradise. I got this in a BoxyCharm box and thought I would try it that day because I was looking for a kind of more dark, reddish rosy cheek. So I know I started with this one here, and then I remember that I kind of dabbed into these two darker ones, so I kind of mixed all three, and that's what I'm going to do today. I like to bring it kind of up into the temple a little bit too. I do like to bring it all the way into the cheeks. It's just my personal preference. If you like that more like snatched look, which I do like a snatched look, but I just personally like color in the apples of my cheeks. Not like anything crazy, but if you don't like that, then just kind of apply it up here and don't bring it into here. Then I will dab into these two and just really lightly kind of darken that area I just talked about, so it kind of transition into the darker blush. So I don't bring it like all the way in here. And I did want that darker, rosier look because for holidays, I just think that it goes, that winter theme. And then what I like to do is take my powder brush with just a touch of powder and just kind of go along those edges so that you have no like start and end to the blush. It just looks naturally like flush. And then I don't honestly remember what highlight I used because I, for some reason, did not list it. I must have forgot. So I'm going to use a very universally loved and well-known highlight. I noticed in the video, because I did go back and kind of watch a few clips just to see how my makeup looked. Because, I mean, I didn't really think I would be doing a tutorial on that look, so I had to really just think back of how I did it, and I noticed my highlight was not super beaming. So I'm actually going to use Champagne Pop, which I know is a pretty kind of beaming highlight, but it's not like the most insane. So this is Champagne Pop from Becca, which is by Jaclyn Hill, or like the collab with Jaclyn Hill. This is like one of the most well-known highlights. We're now going to move on to eyes. I did use in that video my Hourglass Veil eyeshadow primer, which I do really enjoy. It's similar to the Urban Decay Primer Potion, which is another like cult favorite, but this is the one that I used and I really like it. It just really holds on to your eyeshadow. Just when I put eyeshadow primer on, just really dab it everywhere, and then I'll take my beauty blender and go over. It smooths everything out, picks up any excess so it's not too sticky, and just makes it look a little bit smoother. So for eyes, I used the Charlotte Tilbury Holiday Palette, actually. The Bejeweled Eyes Hypnotize eyeshadow palette. I'm honestly obsessed with this palette. I don't use it enough because I've been testing so much stuff. Okay, so I don't remember exactly what brushes I used, but I do remember like the technique that I used. So I use this little trio here, which is the Love Glow trio within the palette. It's the more red kind of holiday looking trio. And so I went directly into the red right here, which is the Smoke shade in the Love Glow trio. And I'm gonna get it on the tip of the brush mainly. Tap off my excess. And I do remember just starting out by carving out that crease. So I'm going to do circular motions and just start to build that up. I like this brush. This is a Morphe M330. It's very pointed and it's tapered, but it still has like an edge that gets like fluffier. So you can kind of point it down and use the tip to really get precise in that crease, but it's still gonna use those you know, edges here where it's a little fluffier on the upper part, and it's going to blend that kind of out as you're carving it, and it really makes things a lot easier. So I went all the way in. I know that I kind of tapered it off like this. Like I had that cat eye shape to the eyeshadow, so I am gonna start to bring it out like that. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna take the same brush, adding no extra product, but also not removing any product. So you kind of want that just excess amount of product on there. And I'm just going to do circular motions along the edge, really lightly. So we're just gonna buff the edges. So see how it now appears a little bit softer. I don't wanna bring it up any higher, so I am going to leave that and do the other side. I really like Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadows because they just blend out like a dream, and you don't like need to reinforce. Like they're so pigmented that you can blend them out and you don't have to reinforce too much, which is really nice. Then I remember bringing it down onto the lid. So I'm gonna use the same brush. I've only used one brush so far. Don't worry about how the lid is looking right now. If it doesn't look beautifully blended, that's okay. We're gonna cover it with a metallic anyways. Going to take a fluffy brush. I'm using my Sigma Blending E25 brush. So it is kind of more flat. It's not going to be like as big as my Morphe E27, which I do like to use quite frequently, especially when I start out with a transition shade. But because it's so high already and we don't want to bring it up like all the way to the brow bone, I wanted a kind of more flat and a little bit smaller brush. So I'm gonna actually go into the lightest brown matte. In the Happy Glow trio, it is the Enhance. So it's the middle shade right there. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that, topping off my excess. And again, super light hand. I'm going to just go over top of the edge. So I'm not bringing it up too much higher. And I just wanna really buff the edges. So I'm gonna buff, 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 circular motions all across. I just want to soften and get that super, super softened look. So now I'm going to reinforce. So I like to do this with any look, with really any eyeshadow. I like to go back and reinforce the crease, because when you're blending like a crease out, it's going to kind of take away from the like vibrancy of the shades. So I'm going to take the first brush that I used, just doing the same thing I did in the beginning. Not bringing it up too high. I really just want to accentuate and reinforce the actual crease now that it's blended out. And I love this red. It is such a flattering red. Love it. So see how this one looks a lot more like wow pigmented, whereas this one looks a little bit more dull. So that's why we reinforce. Now what we're going to do is the metallic. So I know that I used both of these right here. So I first went in with the kind of more pink, darker metallic, and I put it across the lid. Now it looks really pink, but it actually has a bit more of a red shift to it. So I brought it into almost all the way, mainly in the center of the lid. That's where I want it to be focused, and then kind of blend it out. I'm going to actually take a more dense flat brush but still one that has a bit of like give to it. So for example, this one here, which is a JH46, is really firm, like really firm. Like there's not much give to it. Whereas this one, the JH53, is still flat and dense, but has more give to it. So I want one that still can kind of have a bit of blending ability and a little bit thicker. I'm gonna go into the darkest matte brown in the Seduce Glow trio, and I just darkened the edge there. I don't even really want that part to be like super visible. I just want it to give a bit more like smokiness and shape. Now I'm going to take first brush and I'm just going to kind of connect the brown to the red. I want the red to be the focus, but the brown is like a little bit darker and richer of a shade, so that's why I wanted it along the lash line to accentuate and really smoke that area out. I'm kind of almost going over it with the red to kind of blend it into the look. And in that as well, you're kind of going over the crease, because sometimes the metallic can go up into the crease and make things look a little bit dull. Now that we have everything darkened to our desired effect and smoked out and blended out, we're going to brighten up the inner part of the lid with this shade here. So it's the lightest metallic in the Love Glow trio, this one right here. I'm gonna just use my finger for this part. So I came to about here and kind of overlapped that red metallic by just tapping, kind of just blends them together. They're really easy metallics to work with. So I really like this brush. It's a Luxie 121 mini tapered. Kind of has a bit of an angle to it. You guys can see that. So it fits in my inner corner really well. And then I can kind of bring it up into the inner lid too. It just fits really nicely. So this is where I take a brush to get really in there and be precise. So now I'm going to take that JH46, where it is the more dense, more short, like shader brush. And I'm gonna take the red matte that we used for the crease, and I'm really gonna smudge it along pretty much all the way. Okay, so now I'm going to line my waterline. I'm gonna use a black liner. This is just to kind of accentuate volume along the lash line. So I'm gonna just kind of pull up my lid, go along the lash line as close to the lashes that you can. Really smudge it along those lashes. Do you see how like they look more full on that eye? I'm going to just use the shade that I used for the inner corner. I'm gonna also use for the brow bone. And then I'll just take my fluffy blending brush and just go over that edge to make sure there's no harsh lines, everything's smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and do liquid liner. I am going to do a wing because I typically do, and I did in that video. So in that video, I used my Fenty Fly Liner and do a thin line along and then turn it into a wing, kind of following where that brown, I like smoked that brown out, but just a little bit thinner. It's a pretty thin wing. And in that video, I used some Ardell Mini Wispies, 120s, but I'm actually going to be using the velour mini-me's that came in my lash stash. I really enjoy these, and they have a similar shape. They're a little bit more full, which is fine by me because I do like voluminous lashes. So I'm going to go ahead and apply those, and I will be right back. So that's the finished eye look. I think it's pretty spot on. Like, it looks pretty darn similar. So I went ahead with my Milani Color Statement Lip Liner. This is actually one of the only red lip liners that I have, but I really like it. I don't wear red very often. I just was doing it for the holiday look, and I actually really liked this lip, the lip duo that I used. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. So the Milani lip liners are incredible. I'm sorry, I'm just sharpening it right now. They're really, really great. They're creamy, they're pigmented, they last a really good amount of time. And yeah, they're really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with that. And then I used the MAC Powder Kiss lip color. And it is like the liquid lipstick version, like formula of their original Powder Kiss lipstick. It is incredible. I really like them. They're not the longest wearing liquid lipsticks, but they're super creamy. They're almost hydrating. Like they don't dry your lips out at all, and they're really comfortable. So I really, really enjoy these. I forgot to mention that this Milani lipstick is in 02 True Red. And I do go ahead and fill that in as well. Now we're gonna go ahead with the MAC Smash Powder Kiss Liquid Lip Color. Okay, and if you did watch that video, you will notice in the video it starts to kind of bleed out the sides. This is only because sometimes you can apply too much because it's a bit of a thicker, moussier texture. So you just want to really make sure it's smoothed out, you don't have any like buildup anywhere. It's kind of just once you start using it, you figure it out, and that was the issue. I also forgot to blot my lips. So if you blot your lips, make sure there's no excess in the sides of your mouth. I like to take a paper towel, a wipe, whatever you want to use, and you just let it rest in between your lips and just kind of like let your lips press together. And it just takes any excess on the inner part of your lip away so that it doesn't get on your teeth. And then it's only on the part of your lips that's not gonna get everywhere. So that is the finished look for today. Hope this was helpful for you guys, that you enjoyed. And keep in mind, you don't have to buy everything that I just used. You can find products that you already own. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell. Happy holidays and have a wonderful day, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.